Hour.
Hi, I'm Yutaka, and this is George. We're with the Horror Hour. How are
Hey
you
guys,
today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Better now that I finished the film. Um, so, John, I really enjoyed your film and how with it subverted expectations with the horror that was actually displayed on screen. While we're in the environment with a masked killer, we still have to deal with those therapy sessions. So, did you find it difficult to write those scenes? Because those hit hard.
Yes, I did, frankly. But one of the things that when I was thinking about the movie, I talked to some kids who'd been through conversion therapy, and they talked about the physical duress. They talked about, forced marches and, sleep deprivation, but mostly they talked about the psychological pressure, where their identity was constantly being assaulted in various ways. So I knew I wanted a centerpiece scene that really dealt with the psychology of it. And as a dramatist, that's the most challenging to write, because it's not like you're writing a scare scene or a suspense scene or a thrill scene. You're writing two characters looking at each other, and one is trying to psychologically destroy the other. And it's a sort of weird gamesmanship that goes on. So it was ultimately very fulfilling to write, although tough.
It was crushing to watch, so you did a good job.
Good.
Yeah. And I mean, you've written some amazing films, this included, from Gladiator to Skyfall. But what was it that finally made you take the leap into directing this time round?
I think, the movie was very intimate to me. It was very personal, because when I was growing up, there were no gay characters in horror films, or if they did exist, they were victims or they were jokes, and that's hurtful. And, especially I'm talking about the first generation of slasher movies from 79 through the 80s, and I know how much it would have meant to me to have a queer hero. So when COVID happened and me and every other writer I knew suddenly had the chance to write something from their heart, I decided to write something specifically about horror and gender. And that would create characters that I, as a 12-year-old, would have loved to see. That was the motivation for everything.
I mean, I will say that was honestly, thank you for just creating that. And this cast, how was it working with them? Because I feel represented just watching this, and I wish I would have had this, years ago growing up.
Yeah, it was great. And, from Kevin Bacon on down. And when I started writing it, I don't normally write with actors in mind, but Kevin just kept coming into my head, because he has that ability that's sort of like, it's magic to go from so charming to so frightening, like on a dime. And that's what the character does. And thankfully, Kevin liked it, the script, and dove right in. It was an amazing sort of company leader. And then there are 7 kids, who were very generous with their time and their experience, because I'm not trans, I'm not non-binary, but they spoke to me. They talked to me about language, about representation, about feeling authentic. So I think all of our 7 kids, our campers, are very connected to the characters because they were involved in shaping them.
And of course, obviously being set within the gay conversion camp, was that the idea straight away when you were thinking about writing this story, in terms of a story that you wanted to tell from the heart, or did that then come when you started to plan things out more so?
Yeah, no, it was the original idea. The idea was take a horrific, frightening environment and put queer kids in the center of it and have them triumph. So yes, it was always the idea right from the beginning.
Well, John, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to speak with us. We really did enjoy the film, and we just wish you the best. Thank you so much.
Right, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Brilliant. Hi, well, I'm George, and this is Yutaka, and we are from the Horror Hour. And so my first question is, this movie, of course, deals with some serious topics that are very real in today's society. For both of you, how did you go about preparing for this movie, given what it's about?
John Logan was very helpful in that he had materials ready to go about gay conversion and about that the horrors of that concept, and about how it's being implemented in this country. But really, it was the preparation is more about trying to figure out a backstory, for me at least, for who the guy is. And when you have the writer also as the director, you can get a lot done in a conversation. And that's what we started to do, is just kind of knock around ideas for who my guy would be. And from that, things come out of it. Like, what I'm going to dress like and talk like and walk like and do all those things.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously a brilliant screenwriter. And so, there's a saying, if it ain't on the page, it ain't on the stage. Well, it was on the page. So if it wasn't on the stage, it was kind of up, on us.
Right.
So I delved into the script and obviously read all the terrifying research that they had done. Also watched Pray Away, which is a documentary that Blumhouse, who produced this movie, also produced. Just tried to get in the mindset of the people who would choose to do that to young people and try to take away their rights that way. Like, where are they coming from there? And, talked a lot to John and just trusted him and, had great actors to play with.
I wanted to ask, because I love you both and kudos to you, but I also hated you in this movie. So please tell me what it was like just to play such deliciously evil roles.
People ask me a lot if it's more fun, and I don't find it necessarily more fun. What's not fun are characters that are one note, sort of cookie cutter, mustache twirling, typical, stereotypical bad people. This is a guy that, and especially in the conversations with John, that we were able to add some complexity to. And the job that I felt like, especially in some of the earlier parts of the movie, was to try to present an argument that was so clear and non-threatening that you could have somebody in the audience sit there and go, yeah, he's making a lot of sense. And then you come to the point where you can just kind of flip that. So that's what I was trying to work on.
Yeah, same type of thing. When you play somebody who's the bad guy or the evil person, that's not what you're playing. You think that what you're saying is true and right, and that you're doing something good. And so I tried to play into that, and also add the complexity of or is she just completely manipulating this entire thing, and for what reason? And so I like giving layers to roles. So like Kevin was saying, it's not one note. And, when I first read this big scene that I have in the film, the conversion scene, I was really, terrified about it because it's so dark, what this woman is saying. But goodness knows a lot of people actually say those things. And so this is bringing that, what we've been calling queer fear, into a real place that audiences can, experience and hopefully be repelled by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, again, I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to speak with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was
Thank
great
you,
to
guys.
meet you guys.
You have been listening to the Horror Hour. See you next time.